first order of business before our first Sofia flight was to get our cool NASA jackets complete with official Sofia patch. Here are my team members, Connie, Jennifer, and Stacy. We headed over to Armstrong to first of all check out the hangar where Sofia lives, as well as of course to go through some safety training, some egress training in the event of an emergency. Next stop was the pre-flight mission briefing, which occurs about 2 hours before the flight, and this is when the flight crew, the mission director, the telescope operators, and the scientists that are going to be on board get a chance to overview the entire mission, which this particular evening was going to be over the Pacific.
Here's a picture of the satellite with your ground track overlaid. I've circled the area where I think at best you're going to see some light turbulence with this new system moving on in.
In addition to the weather briefing we got from the flight meteorologist, we also got a preview of the astronomical targets we would be looking at during each leg of the flight that evening. Then we headed for the tarmac, and finally, a moment that has been more than 2 years in the making, my opportunity to climb aboard NASA's Stratospheric Observatory for infrared astronomy. That's it. Pamela, also going to be at geostation. There's Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer. So we're all geared up, buckled in, and we're flying in a few minutes. As you saw during the mission briefing, our 10-hour flight that evening was going to take us out over the Pacific, essentially up the coast of California, Oregon, Washington, and even off the coast of British Columbia. Once we were at altitude, I was free to get up and move about the cabin, and I tried to get around and meet a lot of the crew aboard Sofia. Flying a telescope into the lower stratosphere is not a trivial matter. It takes a lot of teamwork. We had mission operators, we had telescope operators, we had data scientists, all working together to accomplish that one goal. One of the many cool things about Sofia is that it can have a different instrument attached to this telescope on almost every flight, depending on the type of science that is required for that mission. So for this particular night, we were using the FIFI-LS, the Far Infrared Field Imaging Line Spectrometer. Here, Randolph explains the operation of FIFI-LS to my teammates Connie and Jennifer, who are both 8th grade science teachers. And speaking of 8th grade science teachers, here's Randy. He was Mission Director 2 on this particular flight, but he traces his interest in astronomy all the way back to a portable planetarium brought in by his 8th grade science teacher in Albuquerque, New Mexico. One of the objects being studied on this flight was M51, the Whirlpool Galaxy, which is 23 million light years away. That means that the light that the telescope was receiving has been traveling for 23 million years. We also got the chance to check out Jupiter and the 4 Galilean moons, Ganymede, Io, Europa, and Callisto. Callisto was being used to calibrate the telescope. One of the tasks at the telescope operator position is to align the telescope to a pre-selected list of background stars that are in the same field of view as the target that is to be studied. Once the telescope has been aligned, then the telescope operators turn control over to the science team so that they can take their measurements. Of course, in addition to seeing what the telescope was seeing through computer monitors, I also slipped off and took a look out the window as well. Okay, so just in case you've been wondering what the waxing gibbous moon looks like from 43,000 feet, that's what it looks like. Beautiful, beautiful. And again, we can sort of see, we got actually a little deck of clouds below us over the Pacific. That moonlight is just reflecting beautifully off the top of those clouds. And then it was time to head home, and I got a chance to ride home in style. Ever wonder what a landing looks like from the cockpit of a 747? Well, now you know. As we flew in over the Los Angeles metro area, I couldn't help but think how lucky I am to be part of this whole Sofia experience, and I can't wait to do it again on Wednesday.